secrets. It's secret time! I've been working on my
reveal.
We're
gonna do squat secrets with my max load on here, so you guys can see what that looks like. One thing that I'd like to give a little credit to somebody who we probably give a hard time to a lot. This was a tip. I've watched a lot of Lane Norton, and I know we give him a lot of flack for his stance on IIFYM. But the guy does have some great programming. He is super strong for his size, and he's an incredible squatter. And so I've taken a lot of tips from him and I've implemented them. One of the ones that's helped me out is his setup and his first movement, what he does when he gets ready to get into his squat. So we're gonna go ahead and fast forward to getting the bar placement. I'll let those boys go over that. But right before I go into this squat, something that has always helped me is to take this deep breath in where I'm going to brace my core, tense my entire body. So I'm flexing my shoulder blades back together. I'm tightening up my abs. I feel solid on the ground. And then the very first movement from there is the hips sliding back. So the first movement is that tensing up, and then the hips slide back, and then I drop down into my hole, and then I come right back out. So tense up, and between each rep, no matter how much weight I'm doing, even if I'm on a lighter day where I'm not repping, or I'm not pushing 1 to 3 repetitions with lots of load, even if I'm doing 5 to 8 reps, between each rep, I'm gonna set myself back up. So if I'm doing 8 reps, I'm still at the top of my rep. I brace, tense, tighten up, come into my squat, and then come right out.
Now you're bracing like as if someone's gonna come hit you in the stomach. You get real tight.
Trying to tense that entire.
But you're not pushing because you don't want to fart while you're doing this.
And the reason why this is such an important tip is when we have a load on our upper back and we slide our hips back, it's really easy for this area right here to kind of fold or give, which is where all the problems happen. The upper body starts to round, the low back starts to stress. So bracing this whole area, your whole core area up, and tensing it up before you decelerate with this weight on your back really helps distribute the weight and drive all the power from my legs, which is where I want it to come from. So that's a big tip that I got from Lane a long time ago.
One thing for me that I see a lot of people where there's a lot of room for improvement is just the bar placement and how they hold their shoulders. So when you get underneath the bar, you want to be able to squeeze the shoulders back, drive them down, and stay tight up here. I want it to be tight and secure right on my back. This is very, very important. I don't want my elbows back here, because sometimes you'll see people's elbows come back here, or their wrist will bend excessively.
That throws you forward.
Or their shoulders will round. If it hurts your back, if the bar hurts your back, your placement is wrong. So you want shoulders back, nice and tight, tight grip. If I'm tight up here, chances are my squat's gonna look decent. If I'm loose up here, chances are the squat's gonna look very, very bad.
And I can't agree more with that, because that kind of goes in line with what I was talking about with keeping the body tense up there. Just that simple tip that Sal just gave with the retracting and the really squeezing and tensing.
Like a lot of the squat happens up here. People don't realize that. It's not just the legs. A lot of it happens up here. That's why I think it's an
excellent tip, because it's one of those things that people think, or they use those bar pads, they just get it rested up there, and they're so focused down here that they'll let this area all up here just kind of loose.
They relax.
Yeah, and that's where you give in the core and the low back.
It's going to take away from a good bar pass.
Oh, absolutely. So being tense and retracting like that's money.
So part of that, as far as bar pass is concerned, what they said is very important to make sure you establish your proper placement with that. One thing that once we start adding a decent amount of load on here, just to be more efficient, so these are secrets of like people who are going through these same movements all the time. Once you start getting a lot of weight on here, you want to be as efficient as possible. So setting up is crucial. But now, once I get it up, I want to be able to get to a spot where I just get it to 1, 2 steps, and now I'm grounded and I go.
So you're not taking a bunch of steps and moving around.
So I'm not jockeying around and trying to get into a position where I feel like it's natural. Like I want to be able to get into that position quickly and then just be as efficient as possible by stepping out 1, 2,
and ready.
Go. And it's a ritual that you have to
Now people think this isn't a big deal, but I'll tell you something right now.
It's a very big deal.
If you look at powerlifters, if you look at the max lifts, there's a difference between powerlifting records where they have to unrack a weight and step back versus powerlifting records where they get into the bar, and I'm not sure what that, I can't.
Where they unhook it and just,
they
don't have to move
Where it
at all.
actually unhooks for
Huge
them.
difference.
And I can't remember the name, it just slipped my mind.
I know that machine.
But it's an actual term. If you look at the totals of the records, it makes a difference. They can lift more because they don't have to get into position. So what Justin's doing there is he's making as efficient as possible. 2 steps, he's in position,
Very
ready to
concise.
squat.
Well, not only that, we talk about the squat and the deadlift, all these moves being a skill, right? Have you ever watched a professional baseball player or a golfer get up to do their swing? There is a ritual
There's a setup
that they do every single time before they get up to bat. And it's exactly the same every time to get that perfect swing when they swing. The squat is the same concept. Is you want this ritual of getting in that bar, that same exact pattern every single time. It's only going to improve the way you squat and as far as the bar path, the movement.
Keeps the focus there established. It keeps you connected to what you're doing.
And it's not silly. Scientific studies will prove that these type of rituals to set you up for something helps cement good recruitment patterns. It helps cement what you're about to do. It creates a habit of good technique.
Absolutely.
And changing what you do to set up can actually influence the lift itself. So great tip, Justin.
There we go.